When a millionaire told his daughter she could pick her new mother, everyone expected a glamorous high-society woman. But what she did next shocked the entire mansion. She walked past pearls, diamonds, and silk gowns, and pointed to the quiet black housekeeper polishing silver in the corner. The room froze. Whispers started. And in that single moment, a decision was made that would defy class, tradition, and everything money was supposed to buy. This isn't just a story about wealth and status. It's about the kind of love that money can't touch. Stay until the end, because what happened after will leave you questioning how you see people. Welcome to your channel name, where we share powerful stories that remind us of what truly matters. Today, you'll hear how a grieving daughter's choice tore through prejudice, challenged a millionaire's pride, and created a family no one saw coming. And trust me, this one's going to stay with you for a while. Jonathan Hale was the definition of success. He owned companies in 3 countries, had a fleet of cars that collectors envied, and his mansion looked like it belonged in a Hollywood movie. But for all the opulence, the house was empty in ways no one could see. His wife, Claire, had passed away 2 years earlier from an illness that seemed to come out of nowhere. It left Jonathan with more wealth than most could dream of, and a daughter who barely smiled anymore. Pamela was 10 years old, small for her age, with her mother's eyes and her father's stubbornness. Before her mother's passing, she had been the sunshine of the house, laughing, singing, running through the gardens. Now, she spent hours in her room, drawing quietly or sitting by the window. Her gaze fixed on the horizon. Jonathan had tried everything: tutors, trips to Paris, tickets to Broadway shows. But nothing reached Emily. One evening, as snow began to fall outside, Jonathan sat across from her at the dinner table and said, "Emily, I think it's time you had a mother again. But this time, I want you to choose her." Emily didn't say anything at first. She stirred her soup slowly, her brows furrowing. "Anyone?" she finally asked. Jonathan smiled faintly. Yes, anyone. He didn't know then how seriously she'd take that promise. Jonathan arranged for 5 women to visit over the next week. Each was wealthy, influential, and, in his eyes, perfect wife material. The first, Victoria, swept in, wearing a deep red gown and a diamond necklace that caught the chandelier light. She handed Emily a rare music box from Paris and said, "This belonged to a French princess." The second, Isabel, was a CEO. She showed Emily pictures from her yacht trip in the Mediterranean and promised, "If I become your mother, we'll see the whole world." Catherine III had political connections. She leaned in and told Emily about attending charity galas and meeting prime ministers. The fourth, Eleanor, was a former model whose laughter was polished but hollow. And the fifth, Diana, barely looked at Emily at all. Her attention was fixed on Jonathan and the priceless art on the walls. To the guests, it was a display of elegance and charm. To Emily, it was a parade of strangers who didn't see her. Not really. After the 5th woman left the room, Jonathan expected Emily to make her choice. Instead, she stood up, walked out of the grand parlor and into the kitchen. The smell of warm bread and cinnamon filled the air. There, wiping her hands on a simple apron, stood Ruth, the housekeeper. A woman in her late 50s, with tired hands, warm eyes, and skin as dark as the coffee she brewed every morning. Emily ran to her without hesitation, wrapping her arms around her. "I choose her," she said firmly. Ruth froze. "Sweetheart, I'm just the housekeeper." But Emily shook her head. "You're the one who listens to me. You're the one who makes me feel safe." Back in the parlor, Jonathan's guests exchanged stunned looks. One whispered, "She can't be serious." Another muttered, "This is ridiculous." The air was thick with discomfort, not because of Ruth's character, but because of what she represented, a break from their polished, exclusive world. Jonathan walked into the kitchen, his expression unreadable. "Emily, are you certain?" She looked him straight in the eye. "Yes, she's been here for me when no one else was." Jonathan turned to Ruth. "Then it's decided." Ruth's eyes widened. "Sir, I can't. People will talk." Jonathan's voice softened. Let them talk. My daughter's happiness is worth more than my reputation. Word spread quickly among Jonathan's circle. Some called it scandalous. Others whispered that he'd lost his mind. But in the weeks that followed, the mansion began to feel alive again. Ruth filled the halls with the smell of home-cooked meals. She taught Emily to bake bread from scratch. They planted flowers in the garden together, something Jonathan had never seen his daughter do since Claire's death. Jonathan watched quietly as his daughter came back to life. It wasn't the new toys, the private schools, or the trips that healed her. It was Ruth's patience, her listening ear, and her unconditional love. One afternoon, as he passed by the garden, he heard Emily's laughter, real, unguarded laughter, and in that moment, he realized this was the wealth he'd been chasing all along. In a world where people are judged by what they have, Emily's choice was a reminder: the richest person in the room isn't the one with the biggest bank account, it's the one with the biggest heart. And sometimes, the person who can change your life is the one you've been overlooking all along. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to remember that love can't be bought. Tell me in the comments, what would you have done in Emily's place? This is your channel name. And I'll see you in the next story that proves the most priceless treasures are found in unexpected places.